Trump and the FBI, in particular, the New York branch of the FBI, have been in a long, mutually beneficial, corrupt relationship for 4 decades. And you, of course, see the nexus of that relationship, organized crime, in particular, from the former Soviet Union. You see that reflected in the heads of the FBI, and we've talked about that many times, that Sessions and Free went on to work for the Russian mafia, that Comey took the head of the Russian mafia, Mogilevich, off the most wanted list, that Mueller obviously, failed in his probe, although I guess he got the furthest, at least in recommending charges of obstruction of justice that, of course, Garland failed to carry out. And it's notable that Garland was also considered as somebody to head the FBI. They were thinking of putting him in instead of Comey back in 2013. So there's a long history of the FBI protecting Trump, of them claiming that they cannot find evidence that the entire American public has witnessed. Like when Christopher Wray was struggling to find evidence of a planned coup, when we saw that coup being planned on the internet. We saw people being recruited for it. People showed up with matching January 6th Civil War t-shirts. None of this stuff is hard to find. Trump confesses to his crimes. It's therefore not difficult to find evidence of intent. So, they're faking it, is my point. They're pretending that it is difficult to find the evidence, whereas the actual difficulty is acting on the evidence because, one, you're dealing with organized crime. You're dealing with some of the most brutal, violent mobsters in the world. Two, and this is more important, you're dealing with institutional complicity.
I'm really scared about what's happening at CNN because it's the same pattern of what happened in Russia when Putin came to power, when Putin was consolidating power. The very first graveyard, the mass grave, in addition to the 1999 Moscow apartment bombings where Putin staged a false flag event where he murdered his own citizens in Moscow and planted bombs in apartments in Moscow and blamed it on the Chechens so they could go to war with the Chechens. The war crimes he carried out in Chechnya. In addition to all that, as he was cracking down on democracy at home, guess where the first front line of mass casualties were? On the television. So you had all of these Russian TV networks, including an extraordinarily popular Saturday Night Live style comedy show. It was like a political satire show on TV that used to make fun of Putin all the time. Those networks were disappearing. People were getting fired. People were getting pressured to quit, and new owners were coming in. Consolidation was happening, and now Russian TV is Tucker Carlson 24/7. It's the Tucker Carlson fascist acid trip 24/7. It happened over time, and it started slow, and then it ramped up, and that is terrifying. That is terrifying. And now you're having it happen here with Fox News, with Sinclair, a right-wing media company, buying up local news, with Newsmax, with One America Network, and now CNN. I cannot tell you how dangerous this is. Any network we love can get purchased by a far-right oligarch and turned into a fascist mouthpiece. And we have to be so vigilant of this. And because I don't think America can survive if this continues. It's very difficult. It's very difficult. Look at the success Fox News has had in tilting the scales in all these elections.